Hi, so this is Dr. Cunningham, and I'd like to propose a concept that we can focus on for today, which is the exception becomes the rule. How is this particular concept relevant? Well, it is a situation or a circumstance that may have been novel or unprecedented. It occurs in one's own life, whether it has to do with a behavior, whether it has to do with a different frame of reference as far as how one thinks, maybe how one feels, how one interacts in a relationship. And once that occurs, then it opens a door for it to become a rule. Now, that is also relevant within systems and how systems can make change, which is the reason why policies, procedures, as well as laws can change. Why? If there's a situation that occurs that isn't already written and happens within a system, then that way of doing things can become the rule. Or in other words, there's a situation that occurs that lends to a new pathway or a blueprint. And the reason why this is so important to consider, because sometimes there have been situations in people's lives where they haven't seen an opportunity for change because they weren't aware of it or knew that it was possible. And so sometimes within a system, it requires one or two to see the importance of being able to open up a new door that hasn't been opened before. And once that door is open, it's no longer an exception. It is now the rule. Now, it doesn't mean that everyone has to choose to walk through that door, but what it means is that now the system has to start creating new rules around how to implement or to accept and to live with that new rule. Here's a great example. Within my own family, I am the first to get a PhD. Now, because I am the first within my own family, that's an exception. That is not necessarily the rule. I've also met individuals that were my own professors and then also some friends who had parents and grandparents who were doctors. So it wasn't the exception that they were the doctor, it was the rule, which means that the way they grew up, the culture in which they learned, the culture in which they spoke, the culture in which they behaved was a part of the rule of doctoral or doctor status. Therefore, it doesn't mean each person then became a doctor because they were in a family of doctors. At the same time, it prepared them culturally because it was the rule to live on a certain level academically, as far as their knowledge and understanding, the way that they conveyed what they knew, and also the culture in which they interacted with others socially. So, again, when change is occurring, not only within one generation, but across generations, the exception can become the rule. I trust you all have a little bit to think about, and I hope you have a great one.